Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll show you how you can build a tool to ask any question to a YouTube video using LangChain, OpenAI, and Whisper. In the last video, we took a look at how you can do the same for YouTube videos that has a transcript. However, not all videos are gonna have a transcript. With this approach, the same thing should work for all videos, whether the videos support transcript or not. So I have an example for you to the right. We're going to take a look at the example, and then I'll walk you through the code, and then we're going to take a look at one last example. So if you look at the example here, I ran the program a couple of minutes ago with a YouTube URL. This is the URL. And then after the video is downloaded, transcribed, and the question is asked to the model, this is the answer that we get, right? So the question was, is tariff likely to contribute to the increase or reduction of inflation? And you can see that the answer is pretty detailed. One point I will highlight is the second part of the answer. It says that in the context provided, so this almost verbatim gives you information from the video without you needing to watch the video, right? Okay, so that's how it works. You pass it a YouTube URL and your question. It takes a couple of minutes because as I walk you through the code, you're gonna see that the program, it does have to do a couple of things. So compared to the last video where you got an answer almost immediately, in this case, you're gonna need to wait a couple of minutes to get the answer. Okay, so now that you know how it works, or at least through an example, let's take a look at the code, and I'm gonna walk you through it line by line. The code will also be linked in the description below. So if you wanna copy paste it for yourself and try it out, feel free to do so. Okay, so the first two things you need to pass to the program is a YouTube URL. This is the URL of the video that you wanna ask questions about. And then a download directory. This is going to be a directory in your local machine where the YouTube video will be downloaded at first before you pass information from the video into the model. So we have the YouTube URL and the download directory. Now this is where most of the magic is going to happen. So we use LangChain's document loader called generic loader. So what generic loader does is it takes in two other objects, one called YouTube audio loader, and the other is OpenAI Whisper parser. And both of these also come from the LangChain community module. So let's see what this 3 lines of code essentially does. Okay, so I'm gonna write a comment just so that it's clear. So the first thing this is going to do is download your video file into the download directory. Okay, so I guess let's break it down one step further. Okay, so at first it's going to download your video file, and then it's going to convert it into audio. And then it's gonna download the audio file in download directory. I guess more than download, this is gonna be save. And once it does that, so at this point you have the video file converted to audio. Now, before you pass the information to the model, you need to turn the audio into text. So it's gonna be convert audio into text, okay? And then turn text segments into documents. Okay, so just to walk you through it once again, what these 3 lines of code's doing is it's downloading the video file from the YouTube server. It's converting it into audio, saving the audio in this download directory. We're going to soon take a look at that directory. And then it's going to convert that audio into text, turn the text into a bunch of documents, because as you have seen in my previous videos, whenever you're passing information to LangChain, to OpenAI, before that you always convert things into documents. So you convert it into documents, and then this is going to be a list of documents that you essentially get. And over here, you're going to create an array, but we're going to come to that in a little bit. So let's take a look at this directory to see what it has. So I have it open right here. So you're going to see that the two files that the directory has right now, these are the two I tried this program with. So this is where the file is going to be downloaded. I'm going to delete this file for a moment so that you can actually see the file being downloaded once again. Okay. So with that gone, before we run the program again, let's go through the rest of the code. So at this point, you should have a loader that has a bunch of documents. Now you want to append all of them or create a list out of all of them. So just like you have seen me do in the other videos, no matter what the data source, any loader has the .load method that you can call on it. And what it's going to do is almost give you like an iterator where each element is going to be a document. And then you append each of those documents in this documents array. And finally, when you're asking the model for the answer, just like before, you pass it all the documents and then your question over here. Okay, so this is the function that needs a little bit more explanation. I have most of the explanation in like 4 or 5 of the videos I uploaded last week. But again, after we look at one example, before I wrap up the video, I'm gonna go into the details of this function. So let's go through another example. Let's say, how are businesses preparing for the upcoming tariff? Okay, so we're gonna run it. It is gonna take a minute or two, so feel free to jump around or just skip to the part where the code begins again. So we're gonna run it here. So the logs are going to tell you a lot. So as you can see, at first it's extracting the URL, and now it's actually downloading the file into the directory. Once is, let's see, yes, so it has done, this is where it finishes downloading. I don't know why it tries to extract the audio again, but at this point you should have the audio file in the directory. So if you take a look at the directory, you see that the file have appeared again. After that, it is converting it into text. So it's essentially transcribing the audio file. This is the step that takes a couple of minutes. So we're just going to wait for maybe a minute or two, and then I'll come back. So yeah, it's still going to keep doing it. We'll just keep waiting. Once the transcription is done, at this point, it's asking the question to the model, and it's passing the relevant documents. We're going to look at this function to see where these log statements are coming from. And finally, we have the answer here. Okay, so as a final part, let me go into this function to show you a little bit about how it works. But just as a reminder, I do go deep into this function, I think in the last 2 or 3 videos. So I'm going to keep it short here. But if you want to know more about it, just feel free to watch one of the 3 or 4 other videos I uploaded. So let's step into this function. So the function takes a list of documents and question, and then calls the relevant doc, so get k relevant doc function. So if you take a look at the function, this is where most of the logic is. What happens is the function creates, so we pass it the list of documents, and then it stores all the documents in a database called the vector store. In vector store, every document gets an embedding. So we're passing in the OpenAI embedding. Think of it as just a vector of numbers for every document. So in this database, we're going to have the document and then the corresponding embedding. Let's say if there are 10 documents, we're going to have 10 entries of data. Each entry is going to be the document and its corresponding vector or embedding. Once that is stored, we perform a similarity search with the question. So essentially, we're telling the vector store that, hey, this is my question. Give me the three documents that are most likely to have my answer. Okay, it does some vector math to figure out which 3 documents are most likeliest to have your answer. In this case, k is 3, but if you want 5, 10, 2, total up to you, it's configurable. And then the function returns you those documents. In our case, it's going to be 3 documents. So at this point, we have the 3 documents, the 3 parts of the video that is most likely to have the answer. After that, we do what we have done in every single other video, where we instantiate the model, and then we create a big piece of string or a big piece of text with the text from each of the documents. So remember, when the transcription was happening, the audio was broken down into text, and now we take the 3 documents, take the text from them, and create this giant string or giant text from all those. And then we pass the prompt to the model. So the prompt is going to have a system message that says, use the following context to answer my question. And the context is going to be an aggregation of all 3 of your documents. And then you give it the question, which is the same question you saw before. Once that's done, we invoke the chain, we call the LLM, get the answer, and then print it out. Yeah, so I think I covered everything. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. And yeah, I think I'll end it here. So I'll catch you folks in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.